It is Monday, and it's once again, finally, a Victory Monday. So let's not wait. Let's celebrate. The Eagles have won a football game. We're going to recap the NFL. We're going to talk college football. It's time for some 609 Sports Talk. Let's go. Welcome back in, everybody, to 609 Sports Talk live here on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, you guys know the deal. If you don't catch us live, catch us every Tuesday morning on Spotify, where these episodes drop weekly. As you guys know, this is the show that unites fans, ignites debate, and celebrates Victory Mondays again. Finally. It only took a while. It took a couple weeks. I didn't know what I was doing, but it's okay. I didn't know how to handle stuff. I don't handle losing well. I win 20 out of 23 games. I forgot I got to be humbled a little bit, but it's okay. But as always, Sam Nelson, Tyler Adams, joined by our good friend Dustin Reese. Once again, gentlemen, how are we on this, let's say, beautiful Monday, but I can't walk outside because I may blow away.
You might blow away, but the Eagles are going to blow you away with another Victory Monday.
Well, it's a fitting week to have Dustin with us. He is our NFC North expert. So let me just make sure I have this right again. Before we even get into the topics tonight, I always like to I want to get this on record for the fans. You cover the Bears.
Yep.
You despise the Packers.
Yep.
You're a fan of the Vikings.
Yep.
I forget. Is there any relation with the Lions?
Nope, they're just there.
They're just there.
Okay, so Lions are just there. Vikings fan, covers the Bears for work, despises the Packers. Okay. See, I remember something.
Pretty much like everybody else in that division despises the Packers, so it kind of fits.
I think a lot of people in the NFC despise the Packers, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to lie. I don't care what the record says. I'm starting to fall out of love with them a little bit over the past few weeks.
Is there a pun intended there?
Packers are frauds.
No.
That's what they are.
Actually, no, there was no pun intended at all. I'm falling out. Actually, I just realized, maybe there was a pun there. It could have been. I don't know. Sometimes I'm better off just coming up with stuff without even trying.
Yeah.
But anyway, gentlemen, let's kick off this show. Since Dustin is a Vikings fan, we'll start out in Minnesota. Eagles finally get back in the win column. After a heartbreaking loss against Denver and an absolute embarrassment at MetLife to the Giants, we were there. It's okay now. I'm a week removed. I can say I was there. It's okay. It's in the past now, so we can just let the past be the past. But anyway, Eagles come out. They come out of throwing. Jalen Hurts, 19 of 23, 326 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, perfect passer rating. Now, as good as the Eagles defense has been over the past year plus under Vic Fangio, it was not their greatest performance. Yes, they only allowed 22 points, but they did almost allow over 400 yards. And they allowed the Vikings to reach the red zone 6 times. Fortunately for us, they only scored a touchdown on one of those 6 opportunities. So the defense, the definition of bend but doesn't break, literally, that was the status quo for that. That's the definition of bend but don't break.
Yeah.
And once again, another week where the Eagles' run game just could not get going outside of a few early rushes from Saquon Barkley. So, gentlemen, I will let you guys start off. What's our biggest takeaway from this game? It could be from whoever, because we have a Vikings fan, 2 Eagles fans. I think Dustin has already said his piece with this. So I guess, guys, who has a takeaway? Who wants to start us off here?
I think our guest Dustin should take it away here. Being the Vikings fan, I know me and you, Sam, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. Maybe some gloating, some not gloating, but
Oh, no, we're not going to gloat here. Trust me. The game wasn't that. Look, we didn't go into Minnesota and dominate them,
we
okay?
lost to the
There ain't
Giants.
no gloat.
There's no gloating.
You can't gloat after that. But whoever wants to start off with their takeaway, go right ahead.
My takeaway is Minnesota is what they are this year. They're probably going to be right around an 8 or 9 win team that's going to win the games they should win. They're going to lose the games they should lose because of the quarterback position this year. And I've said this now for a couple weeks. I don't think J.J. McCarthy is actually hurt. I don't think he's nearly as hurt as bad as the team makes it out to be. I think it was more so you sucked all 7 out of your 8 quarters the first 2 games. You were banged up. So we just put you on a 4-week IR and are using it as a mental reset. And then coming off the bye, you're not going to throw him in there against Philadelphia because Minnesota's offensive line is not great. So that's not a good landing spot for him. And then they have a Thursday night game this week against the Chargers. Same situation. Probably don't want to throw him in there on a short week. I expect him back in the lineup when they get the Lions in a couple weeks. I just don't think he was hurt. I think it was more of a mental reset. And by having Carson Wentz as your insurance policy, you can ride him for a little bit. If he gets him to 4-3 before you bring McCarthy, and then it's just more so, can McCarthy win you enough games to get you that 7 seed?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely hurts the loss of Aaron Jones as well. Their run game hasn't been good at all. I mean, they're relying on Carson Wentz right now to throw the ball like over 40 times a game. And he's not that player anymore. He hasn't been that player. He's supposed to be a backup, yet they're still heavily relying on him to move the ball.
I mean, if you're looking at an offense in Minnesota, like we said, but we knew this was going to be the case coming into the season. We did not know what the quarterback position was going to be. I personally thought I know they drafted J.J. McCarthy. I get it. I still would have highly considered bringing Sam Darnold back into the fold, and they didn't. And outside of that Bears game late, McCarthy has looked exactly like I expected, a first-year quarterback. And then to go into the season with his backup being Carson Wentz, look, nobody will deny no one's going to deny that I am one of the biggest Carson Wentz fans ever. Only jersey I ever bought the week after he was drafted. I don't buy jerseys till like 3 years later. I got to get a sample size first. First jersey I ever bought a week after he was drafted. But it's just clear, what I saw yesterday is what I expected to see. Errant throws, bad throws. I did see some mobility out of him, though, late in that game, which I haven't seen since 2017, which was a little nice to see. But like we said, the Vikings, and the Bears are still winning games, even though I still don't think Caleb Williams has looked good at all. Outside of maybe one game. The Lions are still the Lions. Loses all their coaching staff. Still looks like one of the top threats in the NFC, offensively at least. Packers they still have a good record. I know they haven't. I know I just said before we started the show, but you still can't ignore the fact that they have a good record. So, but what's all those teams have in common? I could pencil in. I know who I can rely on. If the Vikings are going up against any of those other 3 teams, who are you going to trust? J.J. McCarthy or Jared Goff? I'm taking Jared Goff right now. Who are you going to... I'm using J.J. because I'm assuming we're going to assume he's going to be the starter going into next year, too. It's not going to be Carson Wentz.
No,
Wentz...
McCarthy, I think, starts next year regardless, but I'm not sold he's going to start again this year. Because if Carson Wentz... Because as bad as, his stat line looked, he had 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. Still threw for over 300 yards. It's not like he played bad. if you're asking Carson Wentz to throw 40 or more passes a game, you're not going to win too many games. And yet Carson Wentz kept them in that game where if Minnesota gets one more touchdown as opposed to the 5 field goals, Minnesota wins that game. So Carson Wentz did not play as bad as that. Look, you look at his 2 interceptions yesterday. First one was because he got lit up because of a middle linebacker coming unblocked. Nothing he could do on that one. Second,
that was no middle. That was no middle linebacker. That was all 300 pounds of Jalen Carter coming at him.
Yeah, and then the second interception, he was basically trying to avoid a safety and just chuck the ball 54 yards downfield, and it essentially worked out like being a punt. So I mean, both those interceptions really aren't. I mean, you can say they're both on him, but at the same time, first one he's either taking a sack and probably fumbling anyways. So it's like I'm going to try to get rid of this and see what happens. And the second one, it was 3rd down and 12 at the 4-yard line, and he would have had a safety, so he just flings it downfield like a punt. Those are the interceptions I can live with if you're just trying to fling it downfield to either punt it away, or essentially if it gets picked off, then it works like a punt anyways. But outside of that, he had a good game yesterday. He had some errant throws, yeah, but a lot of that has to do with Minnesota's offensive line being garbage.
Yeah, Minnesota's offensive line has not been good all year.
And I'm not even mad that they let Sam Darnold go. I'm mad that they let Daniel Jones go.
Agreed, because I thought
we're not paying Darnold $40 million a year. Daniel Jones is getting paid $14 million by the Colts.
Yeah, look what he's doing. Look what he's doing.
We could afford $14 million to keep him around for one more year just to see what he had left. That's the one that I'm more so mad about as opposed to letting Darnold go.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's because Daniel Jones did believe that he wanted to have a chance to start, and I don't think that was realistic in Minnesota because they still wanted to see what they had in JJ. Breaking news, just real quickly. George, hope you're not watching. 49ers defensive end Bryce Huff injured his hamstring near the end of Sunday's game and will now be out multiple weeks. They hope it is no longer than 2 weeks.
Well, it's a hamstring, so it's going to be a month.
So, I don't know how, but Robert Saleh needs to win Assistant Coach of the Year just for the crap he's having to put up with right now. Because
Coach of the Year,
he may. Well, you know what? He actually may have to. Real quickly, before we continue, let's get into this chat. It is blowing up tonight.
So now that you brought up the 49ers quick.
Okay.
If you were the 49ers, would you stick with Mac Jones or would you go back to Brock Purdy? Because I can make a case at this point that Mac Jones might be your best option going forward right now.
Me being a guy who's never been sold on Brock Purdy, I feel like they're both good enough for how that offense operates. The offense operates with running the ball heavily. You saw that again from McCaffrey. And they just need a quarterback that's good enough to be able to deliver accurate passes on mostly short to medium throws. They don't really attack down the field too often. I've seen good things from Mac Jones. I did see some good things from Brock Purdy before he got hurt. But they're not – none of them are, world-beating. They're just average quarterbacks that within Shanahan's system, it works, and they move the football.
So, for me personally, I feel like the 49ers offense is actually ran better with Mac Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Just in my personal opinion. I feel like they've looked better with Mac Jones. However, if I see Mac Jones gives George Kittle 0 targets and 0 receptions again, I'm sending him back to the frickin' Patriots to back up Drake May. Fantasy purposes and a pissed off fantasy owner, okay?
Yep.
But I am solely now I am convinced that the 49ers pray to the football gods that we will do whatever it takes to keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. All they did not realize that means they have to sacrifice the rest of the team.
It's only a player a week.
It's not like the Lions. It's not like the Lions of last year who were losing 3 players a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but guess what? They're all losing the ones on the important side of the ball. And when you when you bring Robert Saleh back, and you have all this, like your best defensive ends out, you bet the heart and soul of your defense, and your best linebackers out. Your second best defensive end is out.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask
No,
what's
I
next,
get it.
but I'm afraid to find out.
Well, I get it. Don't worry.
But real quickly, before we continue our NFL dialogue here, let's get into this chat. It's blowing up tonight. What's up, Kaylee? Happy Victory Monday.
What's up?
Orlando, what's up, brother? Go Birds as always.
Go Birds.
What's up, Carol? There's my Eagles lady. I missed her. What's up, Carol? Well, it was a game, Carol. It absolutely was. Espo's back again. What's up, Espo?
What's going on, Espo?
I'm not. It took me a minute to realize it was Espo because they're now putting their YouTube @ names and not their other things, so it was kind of confusing me for a second. But I got it though. I remember Espo's freaking photo, so I'm good. But real quick, what did Espo say? He said, funny enough that Carson was so bad they started running it for a full drive and moved much smoother. Yeah, they had a better run game going than we did.
Yep.
Now, I think Orlando's comments going back to when we were talking about like the entire NFC East and how I was saying about J.J. McCarthy, and he said about how Caleb doesn't have the greatest players around him. Yes, but
Caleb has a top 5 wide receiver in Roma Dunze, and he's got one of the #1 ranked running backs the last 2 weeks. Just saying.
Oh yeah, I don't think his supporting cast is awful. It's still, I like. Trust me, I'm watching Jaden Daniels play without Terry McLaurin. I know what a bad supporting cast looks like. But I just want to catch up on all these comments. They're flying in the night. Espo said also this was the closest in-point margin win of all time. Perfect passer ratings with more than 20 attempts. Jalen literally carried. Espo, that's an understatement that he carried.
Yeah.
And he also said he chucked it. That second interception on second down there was zero reason for the arm punt.
It's a safety or an interception. Take your pick. Because of where he was positioned on that field and how much pressure was on him on that play, it's a safety or it's an interception. You don't really have a choice once you had to do what he had to do.
Yeah. At least, with the interception, give your defense a chance. Rather than give the team 2 points, give them the ball back as well.
I don't believe the Eagles scored on that possession if they got intercepted either.
No, because we barely scored. We only scored offensively once in the first half, and that was the first drive. The only time we scored out of that was the pick six. We literally scored a touchdown a quarter.
Hmm?
Which, with the way this offense has been all year, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Did you guys see how Brian Flores tried to stop the tush push?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he tried to Chris Jones, a defensive lineman.
No, he put somebody like front. He put someone straight across, like 3 guys in the front.
That's what Chris Jones tried doing in the Super Bowl.
I think a lot of teams are going to start doing that now because that play actually worked.
It might have worked for them, but here's the thing, right? They're going to go back and watch that on film. Okay, how can we beat this? They're just going to keep changing it up. Maybe what they did is the best shot at stopping it. Which, if it is, good. Let teams run so they can stop crying.
What's up, Mikey?
What's going on, Mike?
Orlando McCaffrey's playing RB1 and wide receiver 1.
Yeah. I wonder. Hopefully, he don't have to get to the point where he's playing on QB1 as well.
That's supposed to take a shot to Joe Burrow now.
All right. Espo. I'm gonna ask you to just pump the brakes on that because yes, while Joe Flacco looked like he was back in his prime with 2 of the best receivers he's ever had.
Listen to what you just said. Look at how good Joe Flacco was for a majority of his career. He had a lot of success when Ray Rice was his running back. He had absolutely no receivers to throw to when he was in Baltimore besides 1 good year from Mike Wallace. Outside of that, he had nobody. Torrey Smith was his best receiver in Baltimore. And Torrey Smith is
Anquan Bolden for a little bit.
past his prime, Anquan Bolden, though.
Yeah.
Like, Torrey Smith was, outside of the 1,000-yard seasons from Mike Wallace, Torrey Smith and his 847 yards was the most yardage any one of Joe Flacco's receivers had. He's never had guys like Torrey, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. It doesn't matter if the guy is 41 years old. He is the two best receivers he has ever played with in his 17-year career. And what Flacco has shown us, age or not, the guy still has a cannon for an arm. You give the guy two receiver weapons, that cannon's going to start picking up some points. And he showed that he can still pick up points if you give him two guys that can catch the damn ball.
Yeah. The one thing I said before the Bengals brought in Joe Flacco, I said they need to bring in anybody. Anybody that can actually just let the ball out of their hand and throw it. I saw Jake Brown just sit in the pocket and fall down almost like Eli Manning. And I'm not even trying to disrespect Eli because at least Eli could throw the damn football. But Jake Browning was so bad. I said anybody can come in and be better. 41-year-old Joe Flacco, 10 times better because he can actually release the football.
He can run a little bit too.
Surprisingly, I don't know where
he looked faster in that game than he's looked the last 5 years.
No idea.
That one run was like, where did that come from? Did you see the Cincinnati fans?
Ripping smelling salts too. I don't know.
No, that's just Cam Scattaboo.
Oh my gosh. Mikey, I got who's their matchups? Does anyone got any idea on who's matchup for those two quarterbacks that Mike just asked about?
I'll look that up right now. It's week 8 next week, right?
Yes.
Jesus, almost halfway done already. Joe Flacco will have the Jets. And Bo Knickerbocker will have the Cowboys. So it's a pretty favorable matchup either way you slice it.
Yeah.
Oh, that is, yeah. Mike, take your pick. I don't know. I don't know who to go with there.
That's a very even matchup as far as favorability goes.
I may favor toward. I don't even know if I can favor toward Bo Nix.
I'd favor toward Flacco because they throw it all nonstop. Chase Brown be damned.
Where are those games being played at, though?
But one in Denver, one in Cincinnati.
So they're both home.
Oh, they're both. God, see, I can't even make it easier because they're both home. You know what? I'm going go Bo Nix. I'm going with Bo Nix.
I'm going Flacco because of the revenge game. He was with the Jets.
Oh, you're right. Gee, man, Flacco's been on so many teams. Jesus, he was even on the Eagles at a point.
Yeah, Joe Flacco
He was a Jet too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'd say Joe Flacco over the Jets is like a revenge game.
What's up, Bruiser?
What's going on, Bruiser?
Bruiser, congratulations on the new personal record today, by the way. I lived at 500 today.
Wow. Congrats.
I like that comment from Orlando.
Of course you do. Start looking like this year's rookie quarterback. We said it.
He's easily the best quarterback.
I put him in my top 10 list before the year started.
I know you did. Yeah. I just didn't. Here's the thing. I did not think that Russell Wilson would be throwing the ball into the dirt bad for him to start that soon.
I didn't see it like that. I thought it would have been, they were losing games still. Russ wasn't playing great, but he wasn't playing terrible. And then eventually they were like, all right, well, season's done. Let's throw in dart. But, man.
So can someone explain to me how Mike McDaniel is still employed?
That's a great question. I heard their game yesterday. He was reading off of a McDonald's menu, calling plays.
No, he was looking at Braille.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh.
We're in at times right now in Miami.
I
don't know.
I watched that game for a reason yesterday because I wanted to see if what I thought was going to happen happened. I think the team quit on Tua after the comments he made the week before about players skipping the meeting.
Yeah.
Because if you look at some of the routes that those receivers made, Tua threw the ball where it was supposed to go, and the receivers just said, "Nope, I'm going to go this way. I'll go the other way. You can throw the ball where it's supposed to go, but I'm going to go this way." And you can get intercepted, and it looks like it's on you.
Orlando, trust me, we know how good Cam Scatterboo is. Me and Tyler have done that since the playoff last year.
You know how crazy he is.
Well, first of all, the what's happening in Miami doesn't surprise me. And I'm sure the locker room has quit on him. The locker room quits on everybody in Miami. This is what people have said about Miami. Not me. This is what people, highly regarded people in this industry have said. Some of those guys, football comes second. You're in Miami. Think about that for a second.
And when you're in Tyreek Hill's case, football comes third.
No, Tyreek Hill, football comes like 15th.
Sex and childcare, that's 1 and 2.
He's challenging Phillip Rivers and Antonio Cromartie, okay? Let's just say that.
Oh, my.
Here's the problem, though. This has been an issue before. Remember last year? Oh, Dolphins players were ecstatic. They got Vic Fangio out the building. Well, the Eagles had the best defensive football last year. The Dolphins had one of the bottom of the worst.
Yep.
So this ain't the first time that the Dolphins locker room has had a fractured relationship with somebody.
Yep.
This is what they do.
Fun stat of the day for you. Coaches that wear capris are 1 and 15 this year in the NFL.
Who was the one coach that got the win?
Mike McDaniel. Aaron Glenn is 0 and 7. Mike McDaniel's 1 and 6.
Oh my god.
Aaron Glenn would be a one and done.
He won't be a 1 and done.
They look.
They look bad, but do you honestly think they're going to fire Aaron Glenn when his two options at quarterback are Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor? They're going to give him.
Yeah.
They're going to give him one offseason to at least get a quarterback in the draft and see.
Hold on.
What can happen?
Why are we disrespecting Justin Fields again? He looked pretty good in Pittsburgh last year. It's New York. You can't go to the Jets and expect you cannot be a quarterback for the New York Jets.
That is a false statement that you just made.
No, it's not.
And I am going to carve you up for that statement.
Carve me up. Okay, let's carve me up about this. Who's in first place in the AFC North right now?
Yeah, the Patriots, because they have a better overall roster. But if you look at
AFC, not the East, the North.
If you look at Justin Fields has 845 yards passing right now.
Okay.
He has still yet to throw an interception. He has not turned the ball over this year. There was a 3-game stretch from week 4 through, I think, week 2, 3, and 4, where Justin Fields had 730 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in a 3-game stretch. He's not the reason why the Jets lost those 3 games. It's the fact that the defense gave up 37, 30, and 27 in those games. Justin Fields did everything he needed to do to win those games. It's the fact that the side of the football that the Jets are known for is not playing defense right now. If Justin Fields put up that 3-game stretch when he was with the Bears win all 3 of those games.
And I think he was getting to that point in Chicago where he was about to turn the page.
He has not played as bad as people think he has played this year.
I don't blame the Jets' struggles on Fields at all.
No, it's everything else.
I'm not blaming Justin Fields. I'm blaming that if you are a quarterback and you play for the New York Jets, you are look, okay. Justin Fields literally. Now this is not his fault either.
If you're a quarterback playing for the New York Jets, you're gonna stink.
Yes, it's just the guy was literally sacked 12 times against the Broncos.
Yeah, and in Justin Fields' credit, I don't like the guy that much as a quarterback, but he has not played bad this year. And in fact, he's off to the best 4-game start of his NFL career.
No, and it's crazy because I kind of said the same thing last year when people were trashing on Aaron Rodgers. I actually looked at his stats week to week. He was not the problem. He had a good year. Yeah. He was not the problem with New York sucking.
Yeah.
And now you see he went over to Pittsburgh, and he's just that team's moving along, competing for the top of their division. And honestly, is there much competition?
Like Justin Fields' last 2 games have been pathetic. But 3 games prior to that, before he got knocked out, he was the highest rated quarterback through 3 weeks because of what he was doing both with the legs and with the arm. It's not his fault that the defense that typically only gives up 17 points a game was giving up 30. If you need Justin Fields to score you 30 points, you're not winning games because he's not going to get you 30 points no matter how good he plays.
Honestly, you go back to week 1 too. I thought that was one of his best games he's played as a Jet in his short time there. And if Garrett Wilson would have just hung onto that football and not got it popped out by Jalen Ramsey, who knows what would have happened?
So Bruiser's making fun of me for saying Mahomes is the third best quarterback. That dude sure looks like a freaking MVP right now. That's all I can say.
He looks like the best quarterback in football.
Last time I checked, I thought you were making fun of me for saying Mahomes is the third best player in the NFL. Yeah, he looks like the best quarterback in the NFL right now. Again. And he just got Rashee Rice back. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that my statement stands.
Yeah, Mahomes, he's looked good. I forget where I had him on my list. I think he was around I think I might have had him at 4. I don't remember.
This is why I'm glad I didn't delete my list. I still have my list. Hold on. I had him at 2.
Oh wow.
On my list.
Yep.
Okay.
So I was there. I was still around that same. But real quickly, look at these comments from Espo. He said, having elite wideouts is so overrated. You just need receivers that are reliable. Example, Drew's entire career and for the most part of Tom Brady. Brady had Randy Moss, lost to a wild card in the second, and that was second in their division. He's right. So, I don't believe always having elite wideouts is always the answer.
It's not always necessary. Like he said, you need reliable receivers.
Yeah.
If your quarterback can get them the ball, they don't need to be the flashiest after the catch. If they can just catch the ball, that's all you really need to do to move it.
But in that argument, though, Brady always had a reliable receiver.
Oh, yeah.
His name was Rob Gronkowski. He may have not been a wide receiver, but Rob Gronkowski was elite. He was an elite number 1 receiver. He was basically Travis Kelce before Travis Kelce became Travis Kelce. So Brady always had the number 1 option. Then you look at Drew Brees. Prime Jimmy Graham was Drew Brees' elite wide receiver for about 6 years. And then you had guys like Marcus Colston, who was catching 100 passes a year for 3 or 4 years. Brees had elite receivers too. It's just not elite receivers the way we look at them. Like, nobody's going to think of those guys as like a Randy Moss or a Kelvin Johnson or a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, but they were still elite receivers at their time. Because the way the NFL was back then as opposed to what it is now, elite receivers weren't used as often as they are now because the NFL used to be a run-first league. It's not a run-first league anymore, so now you need the elite receivers. Otherwise, you're probably not going to make it as far as you once were able to.
I mean, if you kind of look at, like I said this all season about the Colts, people kept laughing at me. I said, they've got the perfect chemistry of offense if Daniel Jones can get his head right. Now, this is before the season I said this. Mm-hmm. They just drafted a transcendent talent at the tight end position. They have one of the top 5 running backs when he is healthy in the NFL. Regardless of who they lose on it, always find a way to put together an elite offensive line.
Yep.
They don't have a flashy name at wide receiver, but guess what all 3 of them can do? They can easily be reliable. They all had 800 yards last year.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Go ahead.
It does help when Jonathan Taylor is healthy and is the NFL's best running back right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. When he's healthy, he's top 5. Right now, he's the best. But just at minimum, when he's healthy, he's top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like Downs, Pierce, Pittman. I mean, Pittman's probably the most talented out of those 3. He's had a couple 1,000-yard seasons here and there, but I wouldn't put them anywhere near my top tier wide receiver list at all. But they're just all reliable. Mm-hmm. And then you got Tyler Warren, who he could do. You could probably ask him the quarterback a whole drive. He could probably freaking do it. Mm-hmm. But Espel, I have to disagree with you. Scatterbo is good. He's not just dumb. He's crazy, but he is good.
Yes. What I think he should have said is the reason he's good is because he's insane, and he runs through everything.
He runs through drywall.
If it moves or if it doesn't move, he runs through it.
Yep, he runs through drywall for weekly warm-ups.
I do think that Scatterbo might fall victim eventually to a short running back career.
Brandon Graham is coming back to the Eagles, by the way.
There you go, Sam. Put your hand down. He beat you.
Yep. Per Adam Schefter, Eagles standout Brandon Graham, longest tenure player in franchise history, finalizing deal to rejoin the team. That better not be the edge rushing move I've been getting, or I will be completely.
Yeah.
I will be
If
pissed.
this is the let me put a Band-Aid until we get back, oh my gosh. Nolan Smith.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you had
Hey,
Darius
Steve
Smith for a week.
I'm excited for them bringing him back. Like, I'm not expecting him to come out and be an every down rusher and be productive.
He hasn't been that in 3 years.
Exactly. I'm not even expecting the production that he had last year. All I'm expecting out of him is to come in there, kind of be a mentor to the young defensive line, because apparently they weren't mentored enough, being around everyone that they got to play with, from Fletcher to BG. So to have him back in there, to have a leader on the defense, because defense doesn't seem like it has much attitude.
See, here's the thing with this defense this year, and this is where we can dive back into some of the Eagles and Vikings game real quick. This Eagles defense this year has shown two things, and this is where I'm going to. I'm going right with Carol here. This is where I'm at. Brandon Graham may only be good to play 10 snaps a game. He's 37 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, the answer is yes.
Basically. But here's where I'm at with this. If Brandon Graham is on this team, week 1, I can at least 50% guarantee that Jalen Carter incident doesn't happen.
Yeah. I can 100% guarantee it. Because Graham was wearing my face mask.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you this, right? How many times has somebody on the Eagles been called for unsportsmanlike conduct? At least 4 times.
Yeah.
Half of them are probably Jalen Carter. But either way, how many, regardless of your opinions on the penalty, how many taunting penalties? At least 3?
Mm-hmm.
That is the problem with this Eagles defense. And this is the problem with going into the season with a defense this young. Yes, they are all talented. We know DeJean is talented. We know Quignon's talented. We know that Makuba is talented, which, by the way, Eagles Twitter has no football knowledge at all when it comes to talking about Andrew Makuba. I cannot stand, he can't tackle. We knew this in Texas. But you know what,
They just magically think he was going to, start tackling like freaking Malcolm Jenkins.
Dude, 7 games into his career, they want him traded. But we won't hold anybody else. We won't hold the pass rush accountable for their ghostings every week, but that's okay. You know, I said
Kuba might lead the team in interceptions too, by the way.
CJ, first of all, we remember how bad CJ Gardner-Johnson looked the first 7 weeks of last year?
He can't tackle either. Unless he knocks you out from a blind side.
No. I'm talking about the 7 touchdowns in coverage he allowed last year. But you notice how later in the season, once the defensive line got going, didn't notice any of that. It all coexists into each other. No one's going to be able to cover consistently for 4 to 5 seconds. That pass rush doesn't hit home, you're going to have problems. That's a big reason why the Vikings were able to move the football down our throats yesterday, because we can't get to the quarterback. The fact that our leading sacks, the guy who leads our team in sacks, is Moro of freaking Jomo, who has 2 sacks and now may have a concussion because Keely Ringo doesn't know how to freaking properly lay a hit on anybody, more like himself. Now I got a problem there. But that's the problem. The pass rush this year. And look, Adoree Jackson stinks. Okay, yeah, maybe he does. He actually was playing well yesterday before he got hurt. Keely Ringo may stink. Yeah, he probably does. Do you understand how easy it is to mask that if you could get to the quarterback consistently?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's the problem right now. But back to the Brandon Graham thing. All those taunting penalties, like we said, the unsportsmanlike conduct, the Jalen Carter crap week 1. If BG is on those sidelines, that's not happening. because that is the one thing we said about this defense. And like we said, they're young, they're talented. Yes, Carter, Mitchell, DeJean, Campbell, Makuba, Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt. They are a talented defense. That's a very young defense. It's a very undisciplined defense. They do tend to make mental mistakes and do stupid crap. I will admit that. Last year, because it wasn't just this, you got rid of all the leadership on that defense. Brandon Graham retired. You got rid of Darius Slay. CJ Gardner-Johnson, you traded him for a guy that's on the Ravens practice squad. So that is the big problem. You didn't just get rid of some of the leadership, you lost all the leadership, and you didn't really do a good job of replacing it. I understand Zach Bond's still here. Zach Bond just started to come into his own as an NFL player, okay? I understand where they want some of that leadership to come from, but guys, some of these guys are second-year players.
Yeah, like,
come on now. I mean, the longest tenured guy on the damn team is probably Reed Blankenship, who starts.
I think you're right.
He was here with 2022. Yeah, he's probably the longest tenured guy.
He came in with Jordan Davis, didn't he?
Okay, Jordan Davis too. Okay, I forgot.
They're both the same, but still, to your point, not very experienced. They don't have any of those long tenured guys. Those guys that are respected as leaders, vocally.
Yeah, look. Jordan Davis walks into a locker room. He's trying to play for his next contract. When Fletcher Cox walked into a locker room, you shut your mouth and let him speak. When Brandon Graham walks into a locker room, you shut your mouth and you let him speak. That's the respect that those guys have commanded. So that's the part I think will help him. Honestly, who knows? BG may come back and say, "Yeah, I can't play. Let me be an assistant. Let me be in the locker room with these guys." But like I said, this cannot be my move at edge rusher. I don't want to hear like, "Oh, BG's here. Nolan Smith will be back in 2 weeks." That still isn't good enough.
Yeah,
they can't get to the quarter, and now we got to see what the health of Ojulari is. He pulled his hamstring yesterday, so we got to see that. Of course, we got to see what the health of Cam Jurgens is as well. God only knows what that's going to be. By the way, let me tell you this right now. I am a Philly sports fan, so I know when I'm watching stuff on television, I know who is serious about being contenders and who is not. No serious team. Now, I understand yesterday because it happened in-game. It's hard to make that adjustment in-game. No serious football team of mine who wants to compete for another Super Bowl is starting Brett Toth at center on Sunday against the Giants. No serious team is having Brett Toth start.
Tell us how you really feel.
I will tell you. I can't stand it.
No,
I already got the song. I can solve this right now. 1 week to the bye. You can't put Landon at center. He's already down 2. He's down 1 arm and both legs. Start Drew Kendall for a week. He was the highest graded center in the preseason. Yes, I know he's a 5th-round pick. He's a rookie. He can't be much worse than Brett Toth.
Yeah.
And you drafted Drew Kendall to be the backup center. So give him a start against the Giants, see what happens.
Yeah. We haven't even celebrated the Eagles yet, but I think that's a good thing. They don't deserve to be celebrated for one win.
No, because it still wasn't pretty.
Yeah. And to segue into what you were talking about, the offensive line this year and this week has been horrendous, particularly in the run game. They don't seem like they know how to run block to save their lives this year. A lot of it's been on Dickerson not looking that good. Jurgens not looking that good. But then losing Jurgens just makes it even worse. So it almost goes back to last week when I was complaining so much about Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo, and then I had to watch them both starting on the field. And then I immediately took everything back I said about Adoree Jackson.
Great, I thought was playing well.
Yeah, he's a number 2. Is he your best number 2 corner in the world? No. But he's a number 2 corner. And it is
But
what it is, and I accept
he's
that.
our number 3 corner. We know who the number 2 corner on this team is. It's Cooper DeJean.
Yes, I know, but we don't get to see Coop going on the outside.
Hey, Cooper's going against Jefferson in the slot yesterday. He was holding his own.
He did.
Quinyon was okay against him. Quinyon did not have fun against Jordan Addison.
No, not at all.
Dude, they ran the same freaking route 18 times in a row. They ran out routes the entire game. What do you want them to do? Unless you, but again, if you don't get to the quarterback, that's what's going to freaking happen.
Yeah.
Real quickly, why these comments are still rolling in. Orlando said BG had the best ending story last year. I wanted him to stay retired, but also is happy that he is back at the same time. Orlando, I agree. What I don't need to see now is I highly doubt BG's playing on Sunday. I highly doubt that.
He probably still knows the playbook.
Yeah, but I still highly. What I don't want to hear is Brandon Graham has retorn his tricep for the 3rd time. That's what I don't want to hear.
Yeah. I know that was a big reason of him wanting to retire, is he was just tired of rehabbing that injury. Took it out of him.
Orlando, if I woke up tomorrow morning and Denzel Ward was playing opposite of Quinyon Mitchell and then also next to Cooper DeJean, I'm going right up there with the Seahawks for the Legion of Boom. If I can get one decently good, talented safety in that room, I'm sold. That trio of corners, we may lead the league in coverage sacks after that.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. Oh, Orlando literally said asked me the same question again. Sorry, Orlando. It took me a second to get to it. Hey, Mike, I'm available. I'm only about 40 minutes down the road. I'm available, Coach.
Mike, we're going to pump the brakes on that.
Espo, Brett Toth is not the reason that Jalen Hurts had a 158 point and had a perfect rating.
It's not. Because the fact that here, let me pull it up real quick. The fact that Saquon Barkley got 18 carries and 44 yards. And that's not all on Brett Toth. That isn't it all. It's the whole offensive line hasn't been good all year.
Are you guys concerned about Barkley yet this year?
No. This offensive line has been terrible all year in run blocking. He averaged I think it was something like 4.1 yards last year before contact.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's been I don't know where it's been at since the last 3 weeks, but after the Bucks game, he was averaging like 1.3. He is literally getting met in the backfield. The interior of this O-line has been bad. The best, most consistent one so far has been Tyler Steen. That's not a knock on Steen, but that is bad for the fact that you have a Pro Bowl center and a Pro Bowl left guard. They are not doing their jobs.
Yep.
And all 5 of them have that run block this year consistently. Lane hasn't done it well. Neither has Mailata. All 5 of them have been bad. If you go back and look at Mekhi Becton and the push that he got in his interior assignments, just in those Rams games alone, Barkley wouldn't get touched that whole possession.
Yeah.
And
that's the big thing that I'm seeing so much this year is that he's having to make the first guy miss in the backfield just to not have a negative play. And sometimes it only results in like a 1 to 2 yard gain.
Mm-hmm.
Pass blocking, they've done relatively well getting Jalen Hurts time in the pocket this year and holding the pocket up for him to get out of it if he needs to. But the run game has just looked so poor. Every team they played.
The only time the run game has looked consistent is when they have bounced him out to the outside. But you're not going to get that every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of my issues with the run game has been the offensive line. They have not put together a complete game yet this year, and it's been on both sides. I just don't understand. I don't understand what's going on with them because, like, I know they're banged up. Lane had his shoulders been messed up a lot this year. We know Dickerson's got the knee issue that he was working through, and then his back got hurt. Now his ankle's banged up. Cam, we have to see what happens with the knee here. Also, Espo, let me explain something real quick. Espo, Brett Toth is not an NFL offensive lineman. That's where I'm getting at with this. Brett Toth also is not a traditional center. He's a guard.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason he played center yesterday is because Landon Dickerson, if he plays center, his entire body's going to fall apart. You drafted Drew Kendall for a reason, to be the backup center.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to put the game pants on, put him out there on Sunday, and see if he can play.
Easy killer.
Because they need something, some juice put into this offensive line. And Brett Toth is not it. Brett Toth stinks. I don't care. Go watch the film over and over again. Brett, you will not find one highlight from Brett on Brett Toth because he stinks. You know what they said to him yesterday? For the love of God, just snap the ball right and don't get overly destroyed by the interior defensive line. But no, I'm not worried about Saquon Barkley. I'm worried about the offensive line, and that is the problem because we thrive on that. That's our motive here in Philadelphia. We like to win up front. We want to beat you up on the interior with our offensive line, and we want to get after the quarterback with the interior of our defensive line. Neither have been consistent this year. That's been the biggest issue with this football team all year. Neither, and that's like I'm saying, I know Kevin Patullo has not been great. I understand that. I do not like having rookie play callers when you have this kind of an offense, when you have these guys like a Saquon Barkley, like an A.J. Brown. Oh, it's not a job to learn on the fly. You need to have somebody who knows what they're doing. However, though, I'm not going to blame Kevin Patullo for all the bad, but not giving credit for what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
Because
what I will say, we actually finally saw a passing attack that moved the ball down the field and didn't result in a bunch of 3-and-outs. Still, where's the run game? Non-existent. Even when they opened the game up with the pass, they still couldn't run.
Espo, I read a little bit into the sarcasm. I just can't stand Brett Toth. I just can't stand hearing his name. His name irks me.
You poke the pressure point.
Yeah. You say Brett Toth, I'm probably going to lash out on you. Even if you're being sarcastic. Okay. Dustin,
you got your Brett Toth jersey yet?
I'm gonna send you a Brett Toth birthday. I'm gonna send you a Brett Toth jersey for your birthday.
You guys are the worst. You know that?
Oh, just want to say real quick, Jahmyr Gibbs has a 78-yard rushing touchdown. And Bucks offense doesn't seem to be showing any signs of life yet.
They're in Detroit. What else did you expect?
I don't know.
No, Anthony, I can't. Yeah, I know we could say Madden curse, whatever. It's just the O-line has been bad. It's been bad all year. And I don't know what they can do, but I agree with Espo though. You just get to the damn bye week, beat the Giants on Sunday. I don't care if you beat them by 3. Clearly, the Giants are not as bad as we proclaimed them to be. They are a scrappy football team. They are going to scrap out games. They're going to win a few of these games too. Jackson Dart looks like a player. Cam Scatterbo looks like a player. Theo Johnson looks like a player. Finally, another Penn State tight end. Keep talking about Iowa being tight end U. Keep talking about that, by the way. We got some good ones over at Happy Valley, too, last time I checked.
I would love to see what Malik Neighbors and that Giants offense would look like if he was healthy. Right now, that Dart's.
Yeah. Like, Wandale looks like he can make some plays.
Mm-hmm. Cam Scatterbo is such a Dan Campbell player, though.
Oh, yeah. He would be the one to go bite the knee.
He would be the one that would be biting people's knees off every single game. He's like, "Oh, put me in, coach. I got you."
He would bite off Dan Campbell's kneecap, probably.
Whose knees am I going after? Put me in.
No. You know what the crazy thing is? I can see Dan Campbell and Cam Scadaboo being the guys that headbutt each other without helmets on the sideline.
Or Cam Scadaboo would just headbutt somebody with a helmet on without his helmet on.
Yeah, that's also true. Cam's a psychopath. Cam Scadaboo actually is a psychopath. I'm solely convinced.
Can you imagine putting Cam Scadaboo on special teams and just having him just light somebody up in the return game?
True.
I suppose not a big Lions guy, if you can't tell. He just called them the Detroit Paper Tigers, stat padding. Wow. Espo's coming out firing tonight. He is not playing around.
I don't think the Lions are overrated.
I don't either.
They're doing exactly what everyone thought they couldn't do right now.
Anthony, yes, okay. But the Broncos are also still a pretty decent team. Last time I checked.
They are. And I mean, it's not Jackson Dart's fault.
And they just beat the reigning champs.
Yeah.
They just beat the Eagles. They're pretty freaking good. They're pretty scrappy. I didn't say they were good. I said they were a scrappy team. I didn't say they were going to be a great team, but right now they're looking like a good team. They're running the football effectively. Dart is making enough plays through the air because of the limited pass catching options he's given. Their defensive front usually is pretty good at getting after the quarterback because, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, even though he was pissed off yesterday, Abdul Carter, they're going to be a good team. They're not a finished product yet, but you're seeing the signs. Tyler, we've been talking now for almost an hour. We've been talking a lot of Eagles and Vikings game, but the one thing we have not talked about yet, how have you not talked about? I know Espo's brought it up a little bit, but
I've been waiting.
The floor is yours.
Exactly where you're going.
I'm not segueing. Just take it away.
So finally, after weeks, pretty much the whole season, Jalen Hurts finally has his statement game. It wasn't good enough the way he was playing when they were winning games, when they started off 4-0. Everyone had their complaints. And even last week against the Giants, we were one interception and one overthrow away from praising him last week as well.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't make that many bad plays last week. Yes, the offense only had 10 yards in the third quarter. That was atrocious. That's not all on him. And yeah, the overthrown pass in the third quarter, that would have been a touchdown to the house by Smith for 70-something yards. That would have changed the narrative completely. But there's too many plays in a football game to have it come down to two that make or break the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Greg.
Finally, yesterday, we see, I feel like he couldn't miss. 19 for 23, perfect passer rating, 3 passing touchdowns, 326 yards. I couldn't tell you the last game I saw him throw for over 300.
Yeah.
It's been a year.
And they were coming off of big plays. He didn't have 50 passing attempts. He didn't even have 30 passing attempts. I saw an efficient passing game. The best game I think Kevin Patullo's coached all year. And Fangio doing what he does. Bend but don't break. Right? They could have easily allowed a bunch of touchdowns, and we could have been looking at another loss. Yes, they got down into the red zone, but they also held them to five field goals.
And first off, can I just come out and say this as well? As awesome as that was yesterday, the offense didn't change their approach to anything.
Yeah, it still couldn't run the football.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just that the route concept still looked god awful. Here is what you need to understand. This is what the Philadelphia Eagles offense is.
That's the one thing I was going to say to you guys too, which was why I was asking if you were worried yet. Minnesota is one of the worst teams in the NFL against the run, and the Eagles could not run the football against them yesterday.
Yeah,
Minnesota's pass defense is typically really good. They're top 10 in the league in pass defense, but they're, I think, 27th or 28th in run defense.
I thought yesterday was going to be the Saquon I didn't go anywhere, here I am game. And still,
Yeah.
guy held at 2.4 yards per carry. Dare I say, looking like Nicholas Singleton.
And again, Bud, you don't need to kick me while I'm down with Penn State, okay? But here's the thing, right? Regardless of where these teams are ranked in their run defenses, after what every team saw last year, every team's goal is going to be to sell out to stop Saquon Barkley. And they're doing that.
Mhm.
They are going to make this passing offense consistently beat them. That's all it's going to be. Here. But seriously, let me just, for the people that want to blame Kevin Patullo for everything that's happened this year, and want to blame Brian Johnson last year, or 2 years ago, my mistake. The route concepts didn't change with Kellen Moore either. They just completed more of the passes.
Mhm.
The route concepts were the same with Shane Steichen. This is not Kevin Patullo's playbook. This was not Kellen Moore's playbook. Kellen Moore brought little inklings into it, but it's not his playbook. It's not Shane Steichen's playbook. It's Nick Sirianni's offense. He just doesn't like calling plays. Here is what the Eagles' offense is. They want to look. Nick Sirianni's already admitted that he's not an offensive genius. He's not going to pick you apart like Kevin O'Connell. He's not going to give you all this fanciness like a Sean McVay. He's not going to find a way to make it work like Kyle Shanahan. The Eagles' offense, this is it. They are going to run the football countless times. No matter if you're stopping it or not, they're still going to make you respect it.
Yep.
And if they get the chance, they're going to throw the football deep down the field and hopefully beat you with it.
Yep.
They're not going to come up with fancy route concepts. They're not going to come up with all these screens that get you key first downs. That's not how the offense is.
Hey,
You're just
I
going to have
will
to live
say,
with how this.
a new play that I've seen unlocked this year was the little shovel pass to Dallas Goedert.
That is something I think Patullo brought into the game, because I don't remember seeing that under Sirianni. But back to Jalen Hurts. Yesterday was not so this is what you want to see, like Pittsburgh last year. This was, I came out all week and said, we're going to figure this out, and damn it, I'm going to figure it out. And he figured it the hell out. Number 11 got the football. Number 6 got the football. By the way, Minnesota Vikings, you may just want to stop covering Devontae Smith. You haven't done it well since he entered the league. The guy is just... I also feel bad that almost every deep ball that was caught was against Isaiah Rodgers, by the way. I love Isaiah. I love Isaiah Rodgers. I still miss him. But
it'd be a great quarterback, too.
Here's how I look at it, right? What you saw yesterday with Jalen Hurts was the definition of, I'm going to put you guys on my back. Let's win a football game. Let's get this done. AJ throw, touchdown in the first quarter, beautiful. Smitty deep ball, perfection. Second AJ touchdown, seed through a little bit of tight coverage. Ultimately, I was not impressed by any of those. You know what I was impressed with? The throw in the fourth quarter on third down when he had to roll out to his right because he was getting pressured. Yeah. And hits AJ on the sideline. He don't make that throw this game, we may lose this game.
Yeah.
And I have been that is one area of Jalen I still don't got a lot of confidence in. I've said that to you. Throwing on the run, it's not a strength.
I agree. Sam, I'm going to tell you what went through my head when I watched that play. I was like, oh, great. He has to get out the pocket again, scrambling to his right. It's going to be an incomplete throw. We're punting the ball away. I wasn't expecting him to make that play. But he did. He got out to his right, made probably one of the most comfortable throws on the run that I've seen from him. And A.J. Brown, the king of the comeback, right there to get it.
It's all they run.
Yeah, honestly. And that's another kind of annoying part. I get it when it works. We're happy about it. But I wish that they didn't need to run it so much.
Well, like even the first touchdown to AJ. AJ didn't run a great route. He stopped mid-route, and Jalen's like, "Would you run?"
Yeah,
He said, "Go, I got you." But that's the point. They don't. This offense is not designed of fancy, high-quality run concepts. It's just not. This is how they are. They want, and you know what I really hate it? There was a time in the broadcast, I don't know if any of you guys remember hearing it. Greg Olson said, and I think it was because it was the third. Now, I will say the 3rd and 5 play in the fourth quarter when they ran the ball, I hated that play. That's a coward play call there. That's cowardly. But Greg Olson literally said, well, they're looking at it as 4-down territory. They want to get it to 4th and 1. Greg, I'm not trying to get the 4th and 1. I'm trying to get a first down and win the football game. But if that's how they are planning it, then in my opinion, I think some of this offense is still centered around the tush push too much. Yeah. That's the only thing about the tush push as an Eagles fan I don't like. I feel like they just don't you can't be afraid to go away from it. Now they haven't ran as much recently as they usually do. Yeah. But it's still you're getting you don't have to rely on it every time. I'm not trying to say, you're telling me that Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith don't say to them, the 1 yard line, we're here too. But real quickly, I want to get to some of these comments from Espo. He's been firing comments in, and I want to get to them. The one thing he said, it was the only reason why Jalen doesn't throw for 300 or even 250 consistently is because Sirianni's philosophy since 2022 is strong first half, bend but don't break in the second. Accurate.
And yeah, look at last year. We went into halftime with such big leads. Saquon Barkley was there running the football to just end the games.
And then Espo also said, let's keep it a super buck. Yes, the O-line has been bad, but your game plan through the first 6 weeks was primarily straight up the middle and third down draws. You're going to have a bit. Yeah, I agree. Espo, I'm not saying that the coaching's been perfect.
There's been a great lack of outside runs this year. I get it, you can't do it every play, but you got to change it up because teams are almost expecting them to just, okay, they're running up the middle.
What does Anthony Price mean? What happened to Mike Evans?
Oh, boy.
Is he having the dropsies or did he actually get hurt?
That's what I'm wondering because he just came back tonight.
Mike Evans has been ruled out for the rest of this game with a shoulder injury and a concussion. Oh, my God.
Yikes.
Baker must have thrown him a hospital ball.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Lions have enough defenders to actually lay a hit like that out?
Their defenders are actually healthy this year.
They are actually.
Besides Terry and Arnold.
Middle of the first inning, Mariners up 1-0. Game 7. Flyers are currently leading the Kraken 4-1. So I'm having a good start to my night so far. But all right, real quickly, let me get to the rest of these comments real quick. Espo said that the shovel pass is such a he look at me play. Espo, that's going to get Dallas Goedert a nice little contract this offseason, so I don't know about that. He also said that Smitty is wide receiver 1. You cannot change my mind. Okay. Answer me this, Tyler. And Dustin, you could chime in this as well, but Tyler's going to get... I want him to understand what I'm saying. Devontae Smith, to me, is what I thought. Now, he wasn't bad at his time in Philly, but he was also playing next to an elite deep threat, and then he left. This is what I feel Jeremy Maclin could have been. Jeremy Maclin walked so Devontae Smith could run.
I'll take somebody else that's a little bit different. Similar body build, similar playing style of Jalen Reagor. If you look at Jalen Reagor in TCU, he's doing exactly what Devontae Smith is doing in Philadelphia.
Here's the problem. It was TCU.
But I'm just saying, though, that's what a lot of people thought Jalen Reagor was going to be, is what Devontae Smith is doing.
Yeah.
That's why the Eagles took him where they took him, because they thought he was going to translate into Devontae Smith.
I'll never forget that draft. So many great options on the board.
Yeah, Jettis.
Yeah, namely Justin.
Thank you.
But
for not
I
taking-
like to always go back to the one thing, right? Everything happens for a reason. If we have Justin Jefferson, we may never draft. Not may never. We're not drafting Smitty.
Yeah, you are.
We're not. I don't know about that.
Minnesota still drafted Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison
Mm,
would be a number one on most teams as well, kind of like Smitty.
you would, but I don't think they go for Smitty because they don't prioritize that because you already have Jefferson. I don't know if they go out and make a good push to trade for AJ Brown.
AJ
I don't
Brown.
know if they bring another Super Bowl back.
They went
Hold
to
on, hold on. If the Eagles took Justin Jefferson, Carson Wentz may still been the starter. Micah Parsons would have been an Eagle, and AJ Brown is still a Titan.
AJ Brown would have went to a different team. He wouldn't have been an Eagle, but he wouldn't have been a Titan.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett.
Maybe he's in New England with Vrabel right now.
Maybe he beat Vrabel to New England. Yeah, maybe he's been in New England for a little bit. But yeah, the game of what ifs. But I like the way things panned out, regardless.
I mean, Bruiser, did they?
No, they didn't.
I mean, Bruiser, the play's going to get beat by the league office.
Yeah, I'll be,
That's
back,
the way
I'll be back in like 5-10 minutes, guys. I just got to go pick up my son from
All right.
basketball.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, like Chris Jones did the same thing in the Super Bowl, and he got hurt, and it didn't stop it. Some teams do get lucky and they stop it. I'm going to use a great phrase that is applicable to everything in life. Shit happens.
Pretty much.
Just because they stopped it once doesn't mean they cracked the code and figured it out.
The Buccaneers stopped it once in 2023. They haven't stopped it since.
Gosh, I would love to see Dexter Lawrence try that when we play them next week. I would love to see that happen.
He's going to get pancaked.
He's going to be winded. He may get crushed. You know what? Throw Cam Scadwell out there to go line up like that. I'm sure he'll be fine.
I just want to give a shout out to George Springer, who's playing games 6 and 7 of the ALCS after in game 5, took a 98-mile-an-hour fastball off his right kneecap.
Wow.
So this is a very interesting game 7. Mariners up 1-0. I got that game on right now. Espo said
100%. If we draft Justin Jefferson, I don't think most of the things that happen in this city and on those teams happen at all. Namely the Super Bowl.
You may not get it. That's the thing. Because remember, and
this
makes sense.
Drafting high enough to get Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis.
But remember, they used assets from the Carson Wentz trade. If Wentz gets Jefferson, he's not playing like crap. Because guess what? If they draft Justin Jefferson, they're not drafting Jalen Hurts either.
Yeah, they probably hold off on him, and then they don't get a backup until later in the rounds.
Maybe they finally do what I wanted and took Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, how's Jeremy Chin look like?
No, I'm just it was the you remember the jokes we made in the early.
No, we dodged a bullet with that one. Jeremy Chin.
Anthony Carson Wentz has been blowing games a lot since he left Philly by himself. We ain't got to pay him to do nothing. But also, real quick, Espo said, how did the Vikings stop the tush push? Did we get a first down yesterday because of it? I must have missed that. I was at work when it happened.
When it happened, if I recall, we only got a false start. And it bumped us out of range of doing it. If we didn't actually run the play and they stopped it. Unless if they ran the same lineup twice and I watched a different play. If it's the one time that they did it, it was a false start on the Eagles. So, like I said, shit happens. They're still going to run it. They'll still be over 90% successful with it. That's okay. It doesn't need to be 99%. Then the league might actually ban it mid-season. But 90% completion percentage, we'll take that.
Pretty much. I could care less. My team is winning football games. I don't care if they win it with 1 yard or 2 yards. Ooh. Seahawks defensive backs Julian Love and Devin Witherspoon are out tonight. Ooh.
Oh my gosh, Baker Mayfield just threw an interception. Oh man. Well,
My God, Espo.
Oh, that's why.
Espo, you're not wrong. Honestly though, but that's Jalen Rager. That is the pick that woke Howie Roseman up. He's like, "Did you?" I'm telling you, he walked in the office one day and said, "Did you guys know there's this thing called the SEC? What does that stand for?"
Have you guys ever watched this SEC football before?
They're amazing. NFL players. Howie, they are NFL players. They're minor league NFL players.
Georgia, Alabama, Georgia, Alabama, Bama, Georgia.
Pretty much. Oh, then Toledo and Iowa.
Yeah, that's Toledo and Iowa.
Hey,
great scouting. Great scouting.
Quignon's a generational talent.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about Quignon is that he was one of those sneaky. Oh, he only plays at Toledo. He got recruited by Toledo. After his first year, he had offers to go play at Alabama and the big schools. He turned them down because he said, "Y'all weren't messing with me back then. I don't want to be with you now. I'm sticking with the coach that believed in me."
And is it just me, or is Cooper DeJean just one of the most sound players in the NFL?
Oh, man.
Like, I think Quignon is elite. I think he's going to be even more elite. Cooper DeJean is just so sound. Like, nothing bothers him.
Yeah, it's like he's got that flow. The flow of the game. Especially with that pass breakup on Jefferson.
Not many defensive backs can do that.
Not at all.
And that's the best part of the Eagles situation with their secondary. Yes, Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson have struggled. One fact that we have to remember, Jacorian Bennett should be back after the bye. Maybe he gets a little more run when he gets back healthy, hopefully. I mean, I know he didn't look great against the Rams in the game he got hurt against Puka, but that's Puka. Who does look good?
Puka's going off on every single team he's played this year.
So I understand that number 2 corner is an issue, but you can mask that with a good pass rush. I think an edge rusher is much more of a need than a number 2 corner.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, with the way this secondary is shaping out, you may have 3 building blocks in it. You have Quignon, you have Cooper. I still think Andrew Makuba is going to be fine. If Andrew Makuba averages 4 to 5 picks a year, no one's going to give a crap about anything else.
Nope.
So, honestly, I'm going out the deadline looking for an edge rusher. And you already know who I'm looking at.
Yeah, the player where the front office swears that they're not trading him, that they're not shopping offers right now.
Mike Evans out for the game. Seth Rollins was stripped of the world title. Oh, my God.
Man, that's crazy. Is he hurt?
I think they had Braun Breaker already turned on him.
Oh.
But I think it was a way to write him off of TV for a while. I think he's banged up again. Jean against Scadaboo, that's dangerous.
He'll drop him for a loss of yardage this week. He'll get that
most
Philly
likely.
pop.
Very most likely. But.
And now Jared Goff throws an interception. Wow, this game is intriguing.
Speaking of other games, what else do we want to dive into for a little bit here?
Oh, man, where do we start? I know where I want to start. I want to talk about what I believe to be the best team in football currently. Sam, I know I mentioned this to you over the weekend, and you got mad I never brought it up.
Okay.
Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
6-1. I think they have, both sides of the football, been the most sound, dominant team in football this year. Off the play of, obviously, Jonathan Taylor. He's playing out of his mind this year, having a good stretch of healthy football. Daniel Jones just continuing on his success streak. with the Colts. They get a balanced spread from all the receivers. They get production out of Pierce, out of Warren, Pittman, and also Jonathan Taylor. And then
That
defensively,
offense is
they're just finding ways to take away the ball. Just every aspect of the game. They're just playing like to perfection right now.
they are. Daniel Jones, like you said, he's playing turnover free, consistent football. Jonathan Taylor is again a top 5 running back when he's healthy, and this year he's probably been honestly, if anything, he's probably the second best running back in football. I think CMC's been really good this year.
Well, there's an asterisk you have to put. CMC's been the best runner. McCaffrey's been the most lethal dual threat. Because McCaffrey, I think, just had his first 100-yard rushing game.
I know you said CMC and McCaffrey, right?
Oh, God. Jesus. CMC. Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's been busting off 100-yard rushing games all year. So as far as pure runner, it's definitely Taylor. But CMC, at the versatility that he brings as a dual threat running back, yeah, he's the number one dual threat.
You want to argue back with Anthony here?
All right, Anthony. One good team. Let's see. They beat the Broncos. Broncos still look like a pretty good team to me.
Broncos are 5-7.
They lost. They beat the Dolphins week 1. The Dolphins week 1. Are we really going to say that they were? Were we expecting the Dolphins to be that bad of a team? Week 1. Were you really?
I don't know.
I think we still had them winning their division during our preseason talks. But okay, beat the Titans.
Who in their right mind picked the Dolphins to win their division over the Bills?
Oh wait, yep, wrong division.
I was about to say.
Wrong division. They lost by 7 to the Rams. Okay. You can look at that first good team that they played. They only lost by 7. Beat the Raiders. Beat the Cardinals. Cardinals are a mad team. They beat the Chargers. I mean, the few injuries aside that the Chargers are suffering, they're still a competitive team.
I'm looking at all these comments now that I just got back here. Can we stop using the whole these teams played bums arguments for how good a team is, because you can only play who is on your schedule? And
Thank you.
In your division, everybody in so-and-so's division plays the exact same freaking schedule, minus 3 games. The NFC East plays the same 14 teams. And then there's 3 crossover games that are different based on how you finished the year before. So if someone's going to say this team has an easy schedule, well, then the Eagles have an easy – this is just an example. If some team says, like, the Cowboys or the Commanders have an easy schedule, well, guess what? So do the Eagles then, because they have the exact same schedule minus 3 games. I hate that argument when people say, oh, they're playing bums. You can look at some of the teams that the Lions have beat, for example. Did anyone expect Lamar Jackson to be hurt? No. If Lamar Jackson's not hurt, that's a different-looking Ravens team. Did anyone expect Joe Burrow to be hurt? No. You don't have Joe Burrow. That's a different-looking Bengals team. You can't sit here and tell me that the Ravens and Bengals are crap teams just because of the way they look right now. They're crap teams because their 2 best players are gone. I don't consider the Ravens or Cincinnati a terrible team. They're just playing with injuries right now.
And hold on. You said about their first player. I think the Ravens' first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh best player.
Well, yeah, but it's just a general consensus, though. Like
I know. I'm just saying.
The Ravens are a bad team right now because their best player is hurt. The Bengals are a bad team right now because their best player is hurt.
Yeah.
But heading into the season, you did not think the Bengals were going to be a bad team, and you did not think the Ravens were going to be a bad team. It just happened. They have injuries right now, so the Lions lucked out playing them the way they did right now. And like the Colts, same thing. Like, they can only play who is on their schedule. These schedules are drawn up 3 years ahead of time. And then they get put out when the next season comes out. They're all randomized with who you play, when you play them, where you play them. And it's all based off of how their record – the strength of schedule is the biggest argument I have with people. because people look at the strength of schedule and they're like, "Oh, you're playing such an easy team." I'm like, the strength of schedule is based on how the team finished the year before. None of these teams are going to look anything like the way they did the year before. So we got to stop grading the strength of schedule based on how that team looked the year before and start basing it on what they look like when the season starts. I guarantee every single one of those schedules would look completely different strength of schedule wise if you waited to grade them until the next season started.
Yes. Like, you can't make that argument because if you do, well, what about the Chiefs? The Chiefs have lost to the Chargers, Eagles, and Jaguars. They beat the Giants, Ravens with half of a Lamar Jackson, and they beat the Lions and the Raiders.
Anthony, their defense was bad, yes, but at least you know when your defense looks that bad, Lamar's going to find a way to keep you in the game by scoring points. When you're going up against Cooper freaking Rush, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And no, they didn't look bad. They lost to the Bills by 1 point. They should not have lost that game.
No.
They lost by 8 to the Lions. The Lions are a good freaking team.
Yeah.
To lose by 1 possession, that's not them playing bad. That's not Lamar playing bad.
No, it's the defense playing bad, which is shocking to say when you think about a Baltimore Ravens team.
Exactly.
And that is one coach that I think will be fired this year, surprisingly. Because it just doesn't look like Harbaugh has the answers as to why his team is playing as poorly as they're playing. Granted, yes, granted, not having some of the pieces they have is a big reason for it. But the defensive side of the ball has always been that one area on that team that you could count on every single week, week in and week out to keep you in the game. And the fact that that's been the weak spot of the team this year, it's like John Harbaugh has no answers.
They have elite safeties. They have pretty damn good corners.
Mm-hmm.
A good pass rush.
Mm-hmm. He just has no answers.
Very solid linebacking core.
Yeah.
They should have been one of the best defenses in football this year. Yeah. Top 5. They've been awful.
And I mean, look, you know what? Let's have fun. Anthony wants to bring up schedules, right? Okay, let's look at his team. Commanders, week 1, beat the Giants. Week 2, lost to the Packers. Week 3, beat the Raiders. Week 4, lost to the Falcons. Week 5, beat the Chargers. And now have lost back-to-back games to the Bears and Cowboys. Oh, wait. Because what did I say? A rookie quarterback looks amazing when no one has tape on it. Mm-hmm. Also, not to mention, you took the oldest roster in football last year and basically made them older by getting Von Miller and guys like that. I have no idea who our competition is in the NFC East this year. It may be Dallas because Dak is playing at an unreal level right now.
Dallas and the Giants are a sneaky team.
Anthony, I know it's been hold on, Anthony. I know it's been 100 years since the Redskins were a good team. Do you not remember what game you were playing in last year?
Conference championship.
You were literally in the NFC title game last year. You don't think that you were going to go? You don't think that your fan base expected to go far?
Let me try and defend Anthony for a second here. Maybe he's talking in regards to how banged up Jaden Daniels has been, and maybe that's why he's not expecting them to go far.
Hold on. He's the one that brought up strength of schedule, and
the only time strength of schedule matters is college football because college football, none of these teams play the same schedule. That is the only time strength of schedule matters, and that is exactly why some of these teams got left in and out of the college football playoff last year. Because when it came down to these 2 lost teams that you were looking at putting in that 10 through 12 spot, strength of schedule is what ultimately got some of these teams in. That's the only time that strength of schedule matters because, yes, you have 18 teams in the same conference like the SEC and the ACC and the Big Ten, but you only have a 9-game conference schedule. None of these teams are playing the exact same conference schedule. Yes, you're going to coincide with a couple teams here and there, Your schedule and your non-conference schedules are all different for every team in the country. That's when you can make the strength of schedule argument. The NFL, you can't because every division plays the same 14 teams. It's those other 3 games that make a difference, and you can't tell me playing 3 different teams is going to make your strength of schedule go from 28 to number 1 just because you're playing 3 playoff teams. I don't buy that argument even when the NFL posts it. 3 teams that are very good are not going to take you from the 28th easiest schedule to the second hardest schedule.
But Anthony, this is what I was trying to say earlier in the offseason about the Commanders. They are old when you have an old roster. Tyler and I went through it the last 2 years with Doug Peterson. When you have a roster full of 30-year-olds plus, you're going to get banged up a lot.
Yeah.
And the body doesn't heal at 30 like it did at 20. But
yes, Oregon did lose to Indiana. And looking at Indiana's schedule, they're going to run the table.
Oh, without a doubt.
And you know what that means? The Big Ten championship game is going to be number 1 versus number 2. Ohio State versus Indiana is going to be number 1 versus number 2, and that's your Big Ten championship game. Which means the loser of that game probably goes from number 1 to number 4 or number 2 to number 4 and still gets a first-round bye in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
So, Dustin, while you were away for a sec, Tyler and I basically around this time of the show, we each like to pick a starting point to talk about the other, like the rest of the weekend around the NFL. He decided to go with the Colts. So, I'm going to start off mine as well. I don't care who they, like Dustin has said, and I'm going to keep going off it. I don't care who they've played. I don't care who plays who. I really don't care who they play because what I'm about to talk about went into Buffalo and beat Josh Allen.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm all in on Drake May and the Patriots. I said it. They did enough in the offseason to make me interested. I'm like, I thought they really solidified that defense. Christian Gonzalez, who they drafted, need another corner, Carlton Davis. Needed some defensive tackle help. Didn't know what Christian Barmore's health was like. Well, Barmore is playing. Milton Williams. Needed a pass rusher. Harold Landry. Needed a linebacker. Robert Spillane. Needed a veteran pass catcher at least. Stephon Diggs. And again, I wouldn't say they have a great household name of pass catchers. Like, yes, Diggs is there, but he's at the latter end of his career. He's no longer Diggs that we saw in Buffalo or in Minnesota. But Anthony, not a bad one. I am too. I've been saying this since the all season, but I'm all in on Drake May. Dude's literally leading the AFC in freaking passing yards. He's second in the league in completion percentage. His passer rating's over 100. It was at 6 straight games. The dude is playing out of his freaking mind right now. And I've always liked Vrabel as a coach, and Tennessee was stupid for firing him.
They were.
But yeah, I'm all in on the Pats. If anybody has any agreements or rebuttals to that, please, I'm open to it.
Completely agree. And you can't make that, who do they play excuse. They went into Buffalo and beat their division, their biggest rival.
Yep. And they beat Buffalo at their own game.
Exactly.
After the last 2 weeks.
Espo, not wrong.
After the last 2 weeks, I am all in on the Chiefs getting the number 1 seed and Mahomes winning MVP. The AFC West had a chance to bury the Chiefs this year. And not only did they all let the Chiefs hang around, but you let Patrick Mahomes rediscover his MVP form in the process. And now he's got his number 1 receiver in Rashee Rice back. First game back, he scores 2 touchdowns for the first time in his career. Needless to say, it doesn't look like he missed a beat.
No. I mean, look, who are we to count? Like we said, I know we talked about it throughout the offseason, but again, who are we to count out Patrick Mahomes? I don't care if you – look, I made a freaking YouTube short on Saturday. Now, this is completely different from what we're talking about Shohei Ohtani. And I said the same thing. You don't need to be a Dodgers fan, but don't be ignorant against when you're witnessing greatness. That's all I ask. You don't got to be a Dodger fan, but don't be ignorant. Same thing with Mahomes. The guy's one of the best quarterbacks we've seen walk the planet. I don't care what you say. The guy is literally the best quarterback, has been the best quarterback in football for over 5 years now. And like you said, the AFC West had a chance. The Raiders are still a joke. The Broncos are the closest thing to a threat still, in my opinion. And the only reason that is I love the Chargers. I don't even know. At this point, you might as well move Mekhi Becton back out the tackle. You got Pimpkins banged up. Alt's hurt. Slater's out. You ain't got no tackles. Jason Peters is on speed dial, I heard.
Oh,
Shout out Tyler.
Not good for
Jason Peters could still. Why? Brandon Grant can do it. Why can't Jason Peters? Come out of retirement, eh?
At least Brandon Graham was playing well.
He was playing with one arm.
I don't think the thing that Anthony just put through there too. I don't think any one of those teams needs a change.
I would say the Jets need to change something. Not a head coach firing.
You're not going to fire Aaron Glenn.
No.
Not in his first year. Not when he has Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields as his quarterbacks.
They may need to reconsider offensive coordinator.
Yes. You're not going to fire Kellen Moore because you have Spencer Rattler and Easton Stick as your quarterbacks.
They got no quarterback.
The Saints play hard for him, though. Like, the Saints are actually fairly competitive more often than not, so you can tell that they like playing for Kellen Moore. And Pete Carroll, he knows he's not the long-term answer. He just came there because of the shit show that happened with Antonio Pierce last year. He's just being brought in to kind of restore order in that franchise until they find the permanent replacement.
Lie. Outside of this past week where he threw 3 interceptions, outside of that, Spencer Rattler really hasn't played that awful.
He's been solid.
He's doing what they're asking him to do, essentially.
He has no weapons outside of really Olave because Alvin Kamara is not the Alvin Kamara of old.
No.
I mean, Shaheed's had a solid year as well. This is kind of like what was happening with them last year before they both got hurt, Olave and Shaheed. They were both kind of right around the same amount of receptions and yards. Olave's got 440 on the year. Shaheed's got 356.
When was the last time a rookie wide receiver's ever won Rookie of the Year? Was it Garrett Wilson?
One moment, please.
Because I think Emeka Egbuka is going to win Rookie of the Year this year.
Oh, I think that's hands down.
You should.
Offense. All right, hold on.
It had to be Garrett Wilson because I think him and Sauce Gardner both won it the same year or back-to-back years.
You are correct. Garrett Wilson, 2022. Dustin, you have a question in the comments. What team makes the first trade?
As in, like, a big-time trade? Because there has been some small trades made already.
I guess that's where we're going with.
If the Bears beat the Ravens on the road next week, I think the Bears make the first trade.
For who?
Espo is. I'm not to Espo. We see what he says. He said they're not making the playoffs, but you see what he said at the end. He hates with all his being. So at least he's consistent. But Espo, they're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So the Bears, when it comes to making a trade, I think it's going to be Trey Hendrickson or Max Crosby.
You think the Raiders would finally pull the trigger on that?
The Bears have the financial capital to extend Trey Hendrickson right away. If they bring him in, similar to what they did with Montez Sweat, where they traded for him at the deadline. A week later, they gave him the 5-year, $100 million extension. Same situation applies here for Hendrickson. They have the capital to extend him right away if they trade for him. When it comes to Crosby, The Bears have the draft capital to trade for Crosby to set the Raiders up for the future.
And look, I know Max Crosby, he's Mr. Raider. I get all that, but the Raiders need draft picks. They're not well put together. They still have no long-term answer at quarterback. Geno Smith is probably the worst quarterback in football this year.
And honestly,
And this,
you put either one of those guys with Dennis Allen, that's going to lock a lot of things in that defense.
oh, absolutely. Espo, I made the same mistake, buddy. It's okay. I also got George Kittle back and got a goose egg from him, so it's okay. It's okay.
Well, at least you took the chance on starting Josh Jacobs 08.
I'm not even partial of that on you because you talked me into it.
Hey, I had Rico
reason.
Dowdle sitting on my bench until I started him 2 weeks ago.
I'm just talking. I talked you into reason, Sam. The choice was yours. But if he didn't ultimately play and then you got 0 points from him, you would have been even more upset. At least you got something from a running back.
Mm-hmm. All right, so before we continue to move on, I don't know if you guys have any other storylines that you want to talk about from this week, but I have one more. I don't care how many injuries this team gets. Somehow, as long as Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh are both on the sidelines together, the Niners are going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Actually, I like that you brought that game up because I have a question for both of you with the Falcons. Does Penix need to be benched?
No.
No. Like, what are we basing this off of?
Inability to make big time throws in big moments.
He's still a young quarterback who hasn't even played a full season yet.
Yeah, like he hasn't even got.
He's made 13 starts. He doesn't even have a full season under his belt yet.
Yeah. Remember, he
I
didn't.
also don't like
didn't,
the way his deep ball looks, but that's just my personal grade.
And in his defense, his deep ball threat hasn't been healthy this year. Mooney has not been 100% this year.
No.
So I'm not going to hold that against him because we saw what Michael Penix was when Roma Dunze was the deep ball threat.
Yeah, I'll say that with you, Tyler. Not yet. Because, like, again, what I just said, he was going against Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh, I don't care. I don't care who gets hurt. They're going to find a way to win these games and hold teams down. I am extremely impressed with this 49ers team. Yeah. They're just going through adversity left and right. Bryce Huff hurt. Fred Warner hurt. Nick Bosa hurt. Ayuk's probably not playing this year. Jennings has been hurt. Pearsall's been hurt. Kittle's been hurt. The offensive line's been banged up. Somehow, the only healthy commodity on the team is Christian McCaffrey. I still can't believe it.
The other storyline I have is kind of a double, both college and NFL together.
Okay.
What coach gets fired first, Mike McDaniel or Luke Fickell?
I'm gonna say Luke Fickell only because it feels like it's a short leash for college coaches this year. James Franklin, Billy Napier's got fired.
Yeah. The Wisconsin Badgers have scored 10 points the last 3 weeks. They got shut out by Ohio State this week. They got shut out by Iowa last week. They lost to Maryland the week before that, 27-10.
So you're telling me that
now they have Oregon next week. So I'm not going to be surprised if the Badgers get shut out for a third straight week. And at that point, it doesn't matter what the buyout is. You can't stick with him. If you're 2-6 with 3 straight shutouts, you can't stick with him. The AD keeps backing him, saying that he has all the confidence in the world of whatever in Fickell. If you get shut out 3 straight games and score 10 points in a 4-game stretch, there is no argument you can make to back Luke Fickell. There's just not.
No.
That's a nice play by Tez Johnson. Holy shit.
Can you please not remind me of Tez Johnson? I still have the horrors of the Big Ten title game.
He just hurled somebody at the 15-yard line and took it in.
Watching that game, I knew he was going to be an NFL receiver.
He just hurdled somebody at the 15-yard line and took it in for 6.
Yeah. All right, and
Dude,
there we have it.
dude,
Life
I'm serious. When Evans and Godwin are both gone, they're going to be fine. Like, they're literally going to. They have Tez Johnson, Ibuka, and don't forget McMillan, who hasn't even played yet this year. This is unfreaking real.
Can we all be on the same page that if Godwin, Evans, McMillan, Ibuka, and Tez Johnson were on the field at the same time, that the Buccaneers would have the best offense in the NFL?
Adding Bucky Irving to that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Real quick, Espo said, I don't know if you remember me, but I said Penix would be an all-pro next year. Penix is the real deal, even though he throws like Phillip Rivers. Oh, my God.
He does not throw like Phillip Rivers, because if people remember watching the national championship game, the national semifinal game with Texas, Michael Penix recorded the fastest throw in history on his touchdown pass to McMillan. It was clocked at 71 miles an hour. So he does not throw like Phillip Rivers. The guy's got a rocket for an arm.
I don't know, maybe in terms of his wind-up, maybe that's what he's talking about.
The guy doesn't put like any arc on the ball at all. It's like a straight line drive. It's a rocket every time he throws it.
I'm sorry, the Bucs went for 2?
Yeah, they wanted to get it within a field goal.
Yeah, this early in the game, they wanted to get within a field goal.
Yeah. I have Chase McLaughlin on my fantasy team. Thank you.
Sorry, buddy.
I have an interesting take on who might get the coach of the year.
Who are you thinking?
Dave Canales.
The Panthers are playing some good football. I mean, they're 4-3.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vrabel could be another candidate.
He could, but I think a lot of people expected this from Vrabel, though, because Vrabel has the track record of being a good coach, being a locker room guy. You look at how bad Carolina was last year.
Yeah.
How bad Bryce Young was until the second half of the season. Now you got Carolina 4-3, 3-0 at home. Like, Dave Canales has Bryce Young playing decent football. He has Carolina actually a fairly competitive team.
Well, now Bryce Young, I don't know. Is he going to be missing any time?
High ankle sprain.
He's missing this week
weeks.
and probably next week. So Dalton's starting next 2 games.
Hold on. Anthony, I'm done with you. I'm done with you for tonight. I am completely done with you tonight, Anthony. Oh, my God. There you go, Espo. So you got some points from Tez just now. Espo said they're throwing motions early. Phillip Rivers, and Phillip had a cannon also.
Not like Penix.
Nah, Rivers had an arm, but
Rivers had a hard time getting the ball 60 yards downfield.
Yeah.
And when he did throw it, he didn't get a lot of velocity on it. That's for damn sure. Penix throws it like he's throwing his thinking 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, all right. So usually we're already an hour and 47 minutes in. I think we're going to move on to our last segment of the night. We've been recapping the NFL like crazy, so we're going to skip around the NFL this week, and I think we're going to get into, something that Tyler's been waiting to talk about. So I apologize in advance for this, but some of our cameras are going to be cut off for a second. So what do we think about this, gentlemen?
Why is Texas A&M number 3?
Because they were just number 4 and the number 2 team lost. Indiana
yes, Tyler,
you said. And they move up. Texas A&M was number 4. They move up.
I don't like their strength of schedule.
Are we going to use that right now? I know
we are. We're in college now.
I know, but they haven't gotten to the teeth of their schedule yet.
That is true. They
can only play who's on their schedule up to this point. And up to this point, they are undefeated. Coming from the toughest conference in the country.
Yeah.
That's going.
I like what Bama's done over the last 3-4 weeks. The opponents
has literally won 4 straight games against ranked teams,
and that's what Texas A&M is about to get into. So now we'll be able to see if Texas A&M is legit, or if this is just another classic case of you beat up on the bad teams and you struggle against the good teams. Joe Milton can talk to me. He doesn't have the fastest throw in NFL history. Penix does. So Joe Milton wants to talk to me all he wants. He can. I'll welcome the conversation. I'll say throw a ball faster than Penix, and then we can have that conversation.
Oh my God.
That's what I say to that. When you want to break Penix's record, then we can have that conversation. Until then, you don't have the fastest throw in the history of the game.
The one thing that bothers me about Texas A&M is that they barely beat Arkansas.
Okay, well, I will give you that. But 2.5-hour weather delay due to Mother Nature just deciding it wanted to lightning and hail and rain and bring everything else with it. You knew neither one of those teams was going to have defense. Like, by that point, that was like a 6-7 hour game by that point. Everyone just wanted to get the hell out of there. And the quarterback for Arkansas would be a Heisman candidate if he was on a different program. Because that guy can play football. It's just the fact that he's on a terrible team.
Speaking of Heisman, anybody got a Heisman favorite right now?
Oh, man.
Because I'll tell you who mine is. And he's sitting right there at number 4 in the country. Ty Simpson has played amazing this year for Alabama.
Ty Simpson has, yeah.
So he, right now, if we're picking between quarterbacks, it's between him and Mendoza, of course, at Indiana. But Ty Simpson's been freaking balling this year. So that's mine, personally.
He has. But
Jalen Sayin.
Sayan's played well, too.
Yep.
But
All of them have been playing great.
I think Tyler's also mad that Vanderbilt only got the 10. He wanted them inside the 10.
It was fair. It was fair because they basically kind of flip flopped.
Tyler's also mad because Carson Beck fooled him. He was believing this year, and then last week happened.
I thought they had a chance to claim number 1 in the country, but yeah, no, not after last week.
Hey, can we shout out Georgia Tech for being number 7 in the country?
Man, it's surprising, but not too surprising.
They play good football.
They do play good football. And that's credit to their coach.
Yep.
Very X's and O's type of coach.
And any other? I mean, are we all in agreement? The top 4 is exactly how it should be.
Yeah, Bama should be a 3, A&M a 4, but we'll get there. I just got to be patient.
So
the thing is, I just looked at Texas A&M's schedule, and they actually could run the table. And if they do run the table,
LSU, man, they're gonna be pissed.
Who?
LSU, they're
gonna be mad, but
yeah.
So A&M's got LSU this week, which if they win that, then they get Missouri next week. Those are 2 tough games. But then after Missouri, they get South Carolina at home, Samford at home, which they're going to.
South Carolina will play them tough.
They'll play them tough, but A&M will be favored. Then they get Samford at home, which they're going to throttle by like 60.
Yeah.
And then they end the year at Texas. So they could go into that Texas game at 11-0. Basically playing for the SEC title at that point. And who knows, depending on what happens with Bama and some of these other teams, they could have a spot already clinched in the SEC championship game by that game, depending on how the rest of them play out.
Yeah.
That's just crazy that right now we could be potentially looking at both the Big Ten and SEC championships within the first 4 seeds.
Well, it's going to be Georgia and Alabama. Georgia and Alabama, and the teams that are 3, 4, 5, 2 of those teams are going to make the SEC championship game. It's just a matter of what 2.
That's insane.
Do you think Ole Miss sneaks back up in there?
What was that?
Ole Miss sneaks back up in there at some point?
Not after losing to Georgia, no.
Yeah.
No.
Because Ole Miss still has to figure out ways to beat Alabama, which I don't think they have.
So, Ole Miss could get back in the good graces if they beat Oklahoma next week.
Well, I mean, that's literally their last tough game left because then they have South Carolina, the
The
Citadel, Florida,
Citadel, oh my
Mississippi State.
gosh, the team I would choose to beat up in college football.
Yeah, so if they beat Oklahoma, Ole Miss has a shot to get in because they finished with South Carolina, the Citadel, Florida, and Mississippi State. So Ole Miss can finish 11-1. They have the shot to position themselves, but they're going to need A&M to. They're going to need Alabama to lose one more game to get the 2 losses. They're going to need Georgia to get the 2 losses, and frankly, they probably need A&M to get the 2 losses for Ole Miss to leapfrog any of those 3.
Which probably won't happen.
Yeah.
So, just a minute ago, somebody was bringing up LSU, and I'm actually glad you said that because we actually did have a poll question this week. And I actually want to. This is probably the first time we're doing a poll question this late into the show. I do want to answer this. So before I let you guys go in here, let me just take the AP poll off for a second.
Ohio State is going to play Indiana this year, Clint. It's called the Big Ten Championship game. And then there's a very good possibility that they could meet in the college football playoffs later on. So they may get each other twice in a month.
Pretty much. What's up, Clint, by the way? My bad, brother. I wasn't even the chat didn't refresh for me. I didn't see that you were there. What's up, brother? So my poll question this week was, do you guys believe Brian Kelly is holding back LSU?
Yeah.
Before you guys answer, 86% of the voters said yes. 14% said no.
I don't think he is. He had success at Cincinnati. He had tons of success at Notre Dame. And he's had a lot of success at LSU.
Yeah.
The difference is the conference he's playing in. Like Notre Dame can pick their schedule year in and year out. And the funny thing is, the one time that Notre Dame had to actually play in the conference due to COVID, Brian Kelly ran the table in the ACC and they went undefeated. So Brian Kelly did work at Notre Dame. He got Cincinnati set up to go to the national championship game, which Luke Fickell ended up taking him to, but that was Brian Kelly's entire roster that he built up for Luke Fickell. So he got Cincinnati on the map, and LSU has always been a consistent top 20 team. He's not holding him back. It's just a fact that the SEC is such a strong and deep conference. Anybody can beat anybody week in and week out. So you could play a winless Arkansas team, and that winless Arkansas team is probably better than half the Big Ten and half the ACC.
Point. The only thing I will say is that at Notre Dame, he did have issues in big games. And now 2 out of their last 3 weeks, they've lost to ranked opponents.
They have. But you also got to look at it. They're both one possession losses.
Yeah.
And I get it. You got to, as a coach of LSU, you have to find a way to win in those tight games and the big moments. There's no excuse for it. But is he holding them back? I wouldn't say he's holding them back. They're not going to dominate every single year.
The problems that he's had in winning the big games is when he was at Cincinnati, there was nobody in his conference that you could say was a big game because they came from an extremely weak conference when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Notre Dame. USC, maybe every now and then if they played Michigan or Michigan State back then, that was a big game, but Notre Dame's schedule for the most part was a soft schedule as well. They couldn't schedule themselves to play big games because they were an independent team. They don't have the free will to schedule all these teams that some of these other schools do because they don't have that flexibility of not playing in a conference. And now you go to LSU, 8 or 9 of their 12 games are considered big games. So even if he goes 6-3 in the SEC, people are going to look at it like, oh, he had a down year. He's still 6-3 against how many ranked teams? Like a top 25 team is still a good team regardless of how you swing it.
Especially in this day and age of college football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Clint's comment is another thing I factored in, is Garrett Nussmeier has not looked good this year.
And that's not on Kelly.
Yeah, that's not. I thought Nussmeier was going to be a Heisman candidate.
Hold on a damn second. You're the same person on here, Mr. Co-host, about talking about Drew Aller and James Franklin, but now that doesn't apply here?
So, who's holding back who?
I think Garrett Nussmeier's play is more so holding back Kelly. Because if Garrett Nussmeier would play up to his potential, LSU's winning 2 of those games. At least one of the games that they've lost for sure.
It was Vandy this week, and who they lose to 2 weeks ago? They won because in between they beat South Carolina. I know that, but
Yeah.
who did they play for South
I'm
Carolina?
looking that up right now.
Sam, I think the difference is, real quick,
There
at
is no
least they're
difference.
letting Nussmeier throw the football. They weren't letting Drew Aller throw the football.
We let him throw it against Oregon in double overtime. Look how that turned out.
Yeah.
Both of LSU's losses were on the road. One was at number 17, Vanderbilt. The other was at number 13, Ole Miss, and they lost 24-19 to Ole Miss. So, I mean, going on the road in the SEC, especially against a ranked opponent, no one's going to hold that against you. You're going on the road against a ranked SEC opponent. I mean, look at how tough Kentucky played Ole Miss this weekend. Kentucky's a winless team in the SEC, and Ole Miss barely got by them on the road.
You're saying no one's going to hold that against them. Clearly they are. They dropped a 20 in the damn poll. So clearly someone's holding it against them.
Yeah, because they have 2 losses now, though. Everybody else ahead of them has 1 loss or 0.
Yeah, that is true.
That's why they fell.
But they have this week.
Tennessee's got 2 losses, but the reason why Tennessee is where they are because I think both their losses are to Georgia and Alabama. So, I mean, if those are going to be your 2 losses, well, okay, you're going to be sitting a little higher than some of these other teams.
Who does LSU play this week?
LSU gets A&M this week.
So they're playing A&M. Okay.
They beat A&M.
And then the week after that, LSU gets Alabama.
Guys, we're talking about A&M. They just got beat by a 33-year-old quarterback in Vanderbilt. Sorry, isn't Diego Pavia like 30?
He's 25.
Say so disrespectful.
He's been in college football forever, it feels
He's been
like.
in college football 6 years.
If they're not 20 years old, they're 30 apparently the same.
And Garrett Nussmeier already has more interceptions this year than he had last year. So, I mean, a lot of their struggles has been Garrett Nussmeier. They also don't have a running game this year in LSU, and that's putting more pressure on Nussmeier to try to beat teams himself.
And also, Tyler, I think was you that brought it up talking about LSU and bringing up them being dominant. Tyler, LSU hasn't been dominant since a guy named Burrow played there.
That's valid.
You know what LSU reminds me of over the past 6 years? They kind of remind you of the Washington Nationals. Remember the Nationals that won the World Series the year after Bryce Harper left and we haven't heard crap from them since? That's what LSU's basically been in the same time span. But
we'll find out a lot about LSU the final month here because they got A&M, Alabama in back-to-back weeks, and then they end with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So things aren't getting any easier. Things aren't getting any easier for LSU.
Yep.
And 2 of those 3 games are on the road. The only one that's at home is against Texas A&M. I still think Nussmeier is going to be the number 1 quarterback coming out of the draft, though.
Get a taste of new Lipton tea. Realize tea and lemonade.
wait. Where did you say you think you have Nussmeier got now?
I think Nussmeier is going to be the top quarterback in the draft. People value the SEC.
Yeah. And being healthy.
Yeah. People value the SEC a lot.
All right, so I always do this at the end of each week because of these AP polls. Who right now, so we're looking at the top 12, and that's what the playoff format would essentially be.
Yeah.
If it ended today, who do you like to give? Who do you think has the best shot? I think it's safe to say anywhere from like 18 to 25, it's going to be kind of impossible. But who do you think could still get into this playoff picture?
LSU.
Stop it.
If LSU beats those 3 ranked teams, LSU is going to be in the 12.
If they can, because look at Notre Dame at 12 right now.
They have 2 losses in the first 2 games of the year.
You know what pisses me off? Notre Dame's going to get into the playoff because they beat Lincoln Riley, who loses to every ranked opponent he ever plays.
Yeah.
If LSU wins those 3 ranked games, LSU gets in the top 12.
And now
Because they will be a
Notre Dame
they will
I
be a
agree.
10, they will be a 10-2 football team with 4 ranked wins.
yeah, and Notre Dame has a cakewalk the rest of the season.
Yeah, Notre Dame's getting in.
Notre Dame's had a cakewalk since week 3.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think Texas Tech can get in if they run the table. Similar to what
Dude,
Arizona State did last year, where Arizona State basically ran the table, won the Big 12, and got in.
Yeah.
Texas Tech has that one loss to Arizona State. If they run the table the rest of the way, they're going to win the Big 12. You're not going to keep a Big 12 champion out of the college football playoffs. It's one of the 4 big conferences. You're not keeping them out.
Yeah. I don't know if Tennessee has a shot.
No. Tennessee's got a brutal schedule coming up, and I mean brutal. I think 4 of their last 5 games are top 12 teams. Or top 15
Only
teams.
2 of them. They have number 13 Oklahoma, and they
Yep.
end number 10 Vanderbilt.
Who do they have in between that, though?
Kentucky, who's going to play them like hell.
Yep.
New Mexico State.
Which
and
that's their preseason game in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
you think Oklahoma has the chance to get back into this? I mean, they're right there.
Yeah.
And he's got to get Mate.
Oklahoma's got to
Go ahead,
win out.
Dustin.
Oklahoma's got to win out.
Yeah, and they got to get Mater back into
Oh,
game shape.
They need to win out. They don't have they have ranked opponents the rest of the season.
Yeah, Oklahoma's got to win out if they want to get in there.
That is, I feel bad for them.
Yeah, Oklahoma is the one team where, and I'm going to say this right now, if Oklahoma wins out, they could legitimately move into the top 3.
They should be in the top 3 if they win out.
Based on the rest of their schedule. If they can win out through the gauntlet they have coming up, they will be a top 3.
Because that's Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU.
Yeah.
Which LSU might be ranked higher than 20 by the time.
So if they win out, they're going to be a top 3 seed.
Jeez. Good luck, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Another team I see getting bumped is Miami.
What's the rest of their schedule looking like?
I'm not even talking about that because I think SMU is going to beat them in the ACC championship game.
Ooh.
Because SMU is undefeated in conference play.
Well, let's see. They got Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt.
That SMU game, I think, is what's going to bump them.
And I would not sleep on that Pitt game. Pitt is tough, man. They play some gritty football. So
Pat Narduzzi.
All right, so who do you think? All right, so we're talking about teams that can get back in real quick before we. Who do you see getting bounced out of that top 12?
Georgia Tech is 1 loss away from getting bounced.
Who do I think gets bumped out of that top 12?
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So basically, the entire back half.
All 1 loss away from getting bounced.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Notre Dame is going to win out. They're going to get into the top 8. Texas Tech wins out. They're top 12. If Oklahoma goes 4-1 in this last 5-game stretch, Oklahoma's in top 12. Even with potentially 3 losses. Oklahoma, I will say this right now. When you look at the rest of their schedule, Oklahoma could be a 3-loss team and get that 12th spot. When you look at how tough their schedule is. Yeah. People might take that into consideration and be like, they had the toughest schedule in the country the second half of the season and still put them in at 12.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I think 1 through 6 stays might not stay. I think 1 and 2 are going to stay 1 and 2 the whole year. I don't see Indiana or Ohio State losing the rest of the way.
BYU's another team.
BYU, I think, will get bumped because they got to play Texas Tech in a couple weeks.
Yeah, Texas Tech. And then they even have Cincinnati toward the end of the year.
But I think 1 and 2 stay the same. I think 3, 4, 5 stay the same. 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, stay the same. It's just a matter of what order they're going to finish. Notre Dame, I think, moves up to 8. Oklahoma, Texas Tech, I think, get in.
I can say it.
And then you know the team that I'm going to have to throw in there, South Florida, because the NCAA is going to do whatever they need to do to get a non-Power 5 team in there. Boise State, for example, last year.
Yeah,
they're going to do whatever they need to do to get a group of 5 conference team into that top 12, which is where South Florida comes in. It's the highest ranked group of 5 team left. They'll put them at 12 if needed, just to get a non-Power 5 team in there.
I could say it. I would like to see a team like One last one. Just give me one team from all three. All three of us will pick one. What team would you think would be cool to see them in the playoff? Just for preference for yourselves.
For preference, Tennessee.
Diego Pavia.
Okay.
I mean, when was the last time you ever talked Vanderbilt football?
Yeah.
Me personally, I'd like to see Missouri.
Drankwitz.
I'm a Bo Perbula guy.
Oh,
I'm still heartbroken that he had to transfer out of Penn State.
right.
So, and he's been playing some really solid football, and literally was a throw away from beating Alabama. So,
Right. And I do want to see Indiana back in too. Like I really think Kirk Cignetti has unfinished business.
Speaking of that contract extension, whoo, that's a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Sorry, Penn State fans, don't know what you were thinking about that.
Yep.
I just think Kirk Cignetti has unfinished business for how that season ended last year.
Oh yeah, I remember last year.
You look at the way that team plays. Going into Oregon and winning is not easy to do.
No.
Going into Illinois when Illinois was a top 10 team and not only beating them, but beating the brakes off of them and basically crippling Illinois' defense in the process. I don't know if you guys watched that game, but Indiana put 6 Illinois starters out for the season in that game because of the physicality.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they play with a chip on their shoulder. Like, you can tell when Indiana plays that they play like they're being overlooked. Even though they're not being overlooked anymore, they all have that mindset like they're being overlooked, and they play with that chip on their shoulder.
And a lot of it also has to do with last year, because remember, everybody called them a fluke, and they shouldn't have been in the playoff because they didn't play anybody. And now this year, they own 2 top 10 wins, Illinois when they were number 9, and they just went and
And guess what?
beat
Both top
Atlanta.
10 wins were on the road, I believe.
Oh, no, Illinois was at Indiana.
Oh, was okay. But Oregon is one of the hardest places. Yeah, Oregon's one of the hardest places to play. And they went.
Yeah, you don't go in there and beat Dan Lanning.
Oregon.
Real quickly, I almost got through the whole damn show without having to answer anything about this. Clint, here's what drives me crazy about this. For at least 6 years now, all the national media has done is poke fun at James Franklin. Oh, he can't win big games. When is Penn State going to realize this? Now, all of a sudden, that they've actually had the balls to fire him, now we're the problem. Give me a break. And again, it wasn't because you lost to Oregon. It's because you followed it up with losing to UCLA and Northwestern. That's what did it. Once again, Michigan, all the upperclassmen came back, won the Natty. Ohio State had all the upperclassmen, won the Natty. Penn State gets all the upperclassmen, 3-4.
The thing with Penn State, which is I think what ultimately dug James Franklin's grave, is not only did you give UCLA their first win, but you let them almost hang 50 on you when your defense is supposed to be one of the best defenses in the country. And up to that point, I don't think UCLA had 50 points all year up until that game, and they just came in there and just looked like a team that was a top 10 team. And then losing to Northwestern at home, Northwestern out-physicaled you.
Yes.
Penn State is known for physicality and being a black and blue type of football team that bruises you, and you let Northwestern out-physical you. You lost your game on your own identity to a team that is not known for physical football.
No. And like I said, it was 12 years. I'm not ignorant. I appreciate what he did for us, but it was time.
You're ignorant.
If you watch that Oregon game, when Aller threw the pick, something changed that night with James Franklin. He looked he looked like a broken man. He looked broken. It's like, what do I have to do to get over this hump? And it wasn't happening. Now they're in this search. We have to see what happens. And it is what it is. It's just this is life. Clint said Indiana plays blue collar as hell and he loves it. Oh, Clint, we know what you meant. We know what you meant. What? Gentlemen, we have anything else we want to bring up tonight?
That's about all I got.
All righty then. Guys, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Absolutely fun show. Tons of NFL talk. College football toward the end. For once, I think we almost agreed on everything that we talked about, except for a few nitbits. But either way, Dustin, once again, thank you for coming on with us you're always welcome and whenever you're free. Always appreciate having you on with us.
Yeah.
Guys, same time, same place next week. We'll be talking Eagles. We'll be talking NFL. We'll be talking college football. And maybe if the Sixers haven't depressed me, maybe I'll talk some NBA. I don't know yet. I really don't. I could care less right now.
Embiid plays 30.
Knock it off. But all right, see, it was a great show till that started. But anyway, guys, we're going to get up on out of here. Have a safe rest of your-
Breaking news from Adam Silver. Embiid misses the season with a high ankle sprain falling off the
Oh
walls.
no.
Why did I check my phone when you said that? Why do you do this to me?
Oh man.
All right, guy. All right. Listen, I can't do this anymore with you two. Anyway, before we go, want to get out the last of the comments. Carol, have a great week. Glad to see you back in the comments for another Victory Monday. Hopefully, we can go head into the bye week with another one. But let's not take those Giants lightly. Okay, that we did it once. Let's not do it again. But everybody, Clint, Carol, Kaylee, Orlando, Espo, Anthony, Bruiser, all you great people out there, thank you for flooding the chat with your comments. Greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week. For Dustin Reese, who is gone already, Tyler Adams, I'm Sam Nelson. Good night, everybody.